All right. Good afternoon, people. This is the final reflective manuscript. I am Marquise. I'm here with James. Um, and we're going to just discuss some things, some indifferences we had with the course, positives, not so positives, and we will pretty much go from there. So I'll go first. I enjoyed the course because this is not a requirement in my degree plan. It's actually, it can be um, substituted for another elective. And I chose this course specifically because I thought creating digital resources would be very beneficial for what I want to do. Um, as far as career wise, after I get out of the classroom, which will be soon. Um, so I chose it, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And like I said, I enjoyed it from the beginning to end. Now I've taken Dr. Crawford in the past in another course, and I enjoyed it. I thought the resources were very beneficial, and I did use them um, frequently. So when I looked at this course, I said, okay, this will be great. I do like the resources that she does provide in each unit. It really does give you a variety of things that you can kind of maneuver through and kind of look through and see what you like, what you don't like, what do you feel like where you want to go with your design and what you want to do. Um, 360 was by far the I love the most because that was the one that was functionally pleasing for my MacBook. Um, my Mac had no issues with 360, and I can use that today if I wanted to design something for my students, which I will in the future in this upcoming semester, just depending on how things go with if we'll be virtual. I don't know, but I'll still use it in general. Like I said, 360 was by far the best one for me, just because of the what you can do with it, and it's so simple, but it's also very um pleasing on the eyes. It's not overwhelming. It's not a thousand buttons. It's not something that you can get kind of lost in translation. I think technology is such a we are in a such an innovative phase right now that things quickly change and they don't let it fester long enough for people to actually enjoy it, and then they build upon it. We quickly just switch. So I think 360 is one of the best resources out of all of them, in my opinion, for my own personal reasons. But the last unit 4, that one was very it was contentious at my home. um Me and my computer, um we did not enjoy Adobe InDesign. Like I said in my reflection, I sat for about 2 or 3 hours just trying to navigate and play around with it, and I do that normally just to see how things go. But this one, Adobe InDesign was very um, it to me it was a bit overwhelming for me, and I am used to technology, so I can only imagine somebody who has never even opened Adobe and seen 1,000 little buttons to the left and at the top. That can be very intimidating for some people. And again, like I said, I played with it for about 2 or 3 hours trying to even fix or construct um, my presentation and what I wanted to do. I did create a brochure, so that was pretty hard. Now, once I did figure it out, it wasn't hard in terms of, man, I can't figure it out. It was the figuring out part that was frustrating for me, and I understand it does have a learning curve, and I'm sure if I spend more time with it, I'll get better and it'll be functionally pleasing once I get to that point. But that one was the one that was most frustrating for me, and I really don't get frustrated a lot, but that one really did kind of. I had to take a breather and come in, go work out, come back and say, okay, because I thought about it all day, like, man, I cannot figure this out. But I eventually figured out something and did what I had to do. As far as as far as what we can do, what could happen for enhancements or improvements, not a lot, because I think with this course, it's a course that you use. It's not a one size fits all. It's more so, but let's see what will be the outcome at the end. It's not supposed to go A B C D, in my opinion. I think it's supposed to be things we figure out along the way in terms of these presentations and how we collaborate and things like that. I do enjoy the collaboration because you get to work with your peers and you kind of bounce ideas off, and you also develop relationships throughout the way, which I think is great because a lot of you guys are in doctoral programs, and you shared experiences with me. And if once I do consider going into a doctoral program, you've shared your experiences with it, and you gave a lot of insight on how to move forward in certain terms and certain things. So I do appreciate that. Um, as far, like I said, enhancement, maybe one thing that I would say is, if let's say your group members had to collaborate on one particular, like at the end right now, you collaborate with your group member and we come up with some sort of master project. It doesn't have to be big. It's just more sort of a, let's work on this together and let's see what we can come up with as far as maybe you're K through 12, maybe you're higher ed, maybe you're in the medical field, maybe you're, just wherever everybody's at in their profession, in their career. Maybe we come up with some kind of just master project. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, just something simple that we all can, present to someone else that is outside of the class and get their feedback and say, oh, okay, I did like that, and maybe ask for improvements or feedback and what we can do to help to really go beyond what we initially created. Other than that, I think the course to me is brilliant, because again, it's not a ABCD course. It is a course that, let's see where you guys are going to go with this. And I'm going to give you some feedback on what I think is, like, my personal feedback on what I think is great, what I think you guys can improve on. And the feedback is always exceptional. So yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy Dr. Crawford's class, honestly, if I can be honest, because it really does go beyond just turning in work. Honestly, it really does make you think critically, and you also have fun, because it is fun creating some of this, honestly, because you're like, oh, you feel a sense of liberation when you complete something. I know I do, honestly, I really, really do. So yeah, like I said, I enjoyed the course, and I think when I did watch Jeffrey and Jordan's video, he did state that I think this course should be required, and not a elective. I think it should, honestly, especially I feel like if you're in education, even if you are in a doctoral program, I think that you would benefit from this, honestly. If it's not all of the resources, I know one of them will definitely stick with you, and you'll hold that and use it in the future. So that's just my take on it. So yeah, I'll pass it off to James, and he'll go into his indifferences and what he feels about it.
Well, this was an elective for me as well. I have to agree with you on InDesign. Yeah, that one, I almost snapped the keyboard over my knee. I was that frustrated with it. Mainly because InDesign would only run on my laptop, and then trying to do desktop publishing on a 16-inch screen. It's really difficult to sit and try to move things when you're this close. So that got to be a bit of a challenge. I've never been a fan of the Adobe Creative Suites, because when they started joining all the different pieces together, and you might have noticed that the Rise company has a similar thing with theirs as well. You start getting into, well, this program's also going to do this and this, so you don't have to, you don't have to switch to another program. And, I've had 2 different military grade training schools on desktop publishing. And I needed to resize one of my images. So being the eternal optimist, I opened it up in InDesign.
Yeah.
And it was asking me to resize them in pixels. Now, I'm good, but I'm not that good. I was like, nope. Fired up my obsolete copy of Photoshop over on my real machine and knocked it out in about a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I would have been struggling for a while with trial and error on that one, even though I'd already gone through and reset all my preferences where it was just inches. But it's just trying to do too much with the wrong thing. It works for cell phones, but specialized programs are specialized for a very good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, InDesign is just a dolled up version of PageMaker. And I can make PageMaker stand up on a table and do the hokey pokey if I wanted to. I'm very good with PageMaker. In fact, I have an obsolete copy of PageMaker on my machine.
Yeah.
And they're fun to use, but the way they redesigned a lot of the menus, you're right. Even for me, it was overwhelming.
Right.
I mean, I have the advantage of knowing, well, I'm only going to want to concern myself with these 5 buttons. The
Mm-hmm.
rest can just screw off.
Mm-hmm.
But even trying to find the different things in the menus, because they rearrange so much stuff,
Yeah.
it was a real challenge. About the only other way I could see this course being strengthened
Mm-hmm.
would be to have a line or so of definitive product that we're looking for that week.
Mm-hmm.
Like this week, we're looking for something created via desktop publishing. This week, we're looking for a web-based learning system or, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that as soon as it would be the first day in the module, there would be lots of phone calls and emails back and forth to everybody in texts. What are we looking for this week? Oh, well, I think oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I would usually email Dr. Crawford and say, hey, based on the programs we've got this week, it looks like you're gunning for this.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd always be like, yeah, that's a good call.
Mm-hmm.
The deadlines were exciting. It's been a while since I've had really tight deadlines like this.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my intermediate photojournalism school.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were every branch of the military in one big class.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the first 3 or 4 weeks, the people that were considered writers went and brushed up on their photography, real low stress, have fun, take some pictures. The people that were viewed as photographers got to brush up on their writing. Well, I was in the photographer group, I was brushing up on my photography, even though I didn't need it. So, it was like a 4-week vacation. And then we came back and had a couple days orientation, and they're like, hey, you've got a deadline every 3 days for the next 3 weeks. And if you miss one, you fail. Good luck. And you could just hear the butt cheeks tightening throughout the room because everyone's like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because in that, you would have like 4 or 5 full story packages. You had to find a story off base, arrange to go do the story, write the story, photograph the story, and get it done within X number of days.
That's stressful.
Oh yeah. And the only other thing we had sprinkled in was find a news event. So you had an entire class of students that turned in ambulance chasers. We saw copper ambulance lights. We were right on their tail.
Yeah.
Because it was breaking news. So, I've done the harsh deadline thing before, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't new, but I'd forgotten just how exciting that could be. Having just deadline after deadline after deadline with no time to breathe.
Yeah.
I understand the need for a 4-week course.
Yeah.
I can't say I agree with the need for a 4-week course. I think this would have been a lot more fun as like half a regular semester.
8 weeks?
Yeah, because I know from everything I've seen as a class, we were really enjoying collaborating with each other. And it seems like just as we're all getting into a great groove, it's over. And not to mince words, because I'm a blunt person, but that really sucks. This is a great group of people, and I'm going to miss everybody. So, I mean, 8 weeks or even 16 weeks together would have just been magical.
Yeah.
And the kind of product we could have produced
Mm-hmm.
over that long of a term.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seeing the stuff we did in just a couple of
That's,
days,
yeah.
if we would have had 2 or 4 weeks per unit,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wow, that would have been some really wow product.
I agree partially. I do see the concern. Like the 4-week course, I didn't really think too much of because I thought I just looked at the title, I say creating digital resources. That seems fun. I've already taken out the Crawford, so of course I'm gonna go in with an open mind. Um, I do agree with the part where if we did have enough time, like the class I was in when I took her in the spring, it was an 8-week course, and we did create some quality stuff. Not saying that this wasn't quality, but we had created a website, so we built upon something every week, and I thought that was brilliant because it shows you the progression. And I still look at that website to this day. I actually use that as a example when I was talking to someone. Um, it was perfect. Honestly, that really stuck. And you don't know how things will affect you and really, take with you until you're like, oh, I do have something like that. And you go look for it and you have it. Um, I think this class did what it needed to do as far as the length. Now, what I will say about the deadlines were tough. In the beginning, we're fine. As school is about to start now, and I've been in PDs all week, um, and there's a lot of talk about how we're going to do things. That was where the scheduling piece kind of, kind of got a little tight, but I mean, hey, it is what it is, in my opinion. Outside of that, like I said, I enjoyed the course, and you do meet some great people. Because you really meet people from all different walks of life, and we're all some way and somehow interconnected, whether it be in the professional realm, or or more on a personal connection as far as movies and whatnot, is what me and James talk about in history and whatnot. So I think that piece, you definitely, the relationship is kind of cut off short, but my number don't change, and we all been ever. So yeah.
Well, and it always seems like the classes you wish would be longer aren't.
Yeah.
And the classes you just want them to end as soon as possible never do.
You're like, you're still
Yeah.
wow. I
Because
agree.
I've been in some 16-week courses that I was ready to be done with them by week 2. And I've been in some other 16-week courses a couple of years ago
Mhm.
that, dead serious, I wish I was still in them right now
Yeah.
because the material and everything is so rich.
Yeah.
Shameless plug for anybody watching. If you ever have the opportunity to take any of Dr. Barbara Hale's film classes over in humanities at the master's level, take them. You want those classes.
Mm-hmm.
They are the most amazing classes in the humanities section.
Food for thought.
So shameless plug for my mentor there, but I love her to death.
Yeah.
But in terms of everything else, the variety of outputs was a good strength. And, yeah, playfully bitching a bit about the deadlines, but deadlines help. Deadlines really, you've got to be pushed sometimes.
It creates structure, I feel.
And it creates resilience in you.
Yes.
For example, some of my doctoral candidate friends have been nervous because tomorrow's our comps exam. It's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't come from a writing background. And I've told them, whenever you start to doubt yourself, go into e-services, and I want you to bring up your grades since you started the doc program.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm willing to bet they're all A's.
Mm-hmm.
Because that'll show you that on all those other times you said, I don't think I can do this, you did it.
Mm-hmm.
You succeeded, and there's proof. So if you did it before, you can do it again. And that's the way deadlines are. The first couple you run up against, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And then you just get into it.
100% agree.
Like the freakiest thing for me, I was stationed in New Orleans. So I would go out and shoot Coast Guard photos.
My hometown.
And I'd bring them by the Times-Picayune.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 1 or 2 times I went there, I would hand my film off to the photo editor, and Dinah would get it all ready and run it. About the third time I rolled in, I'm like, hey, Dinah, I got the footage. She's like, all right, you know how to put it in the machine. Go ahead. Once it comes out, cut it, pick what you want. We'll talk about it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And she goes, man, you know as much as any of my photographers. I don't need to baby you. Just take care of it.
Yeah.
And I was treated like a member of staff from then on.
Mm-hmm.
It was even to the point she's like, hey, if you got your own color footage you want to run, bring it in. I don't care. Throw it in after your stuff's done. No harm.
She trusts you.
Yeah. And it was because those first couple of deadlines, I hit them. I was professional. And then after that, it's, yeah, you're good. Welcome home. Pull up a chair. And that's the way it gets with any deadline that you're able, any situation where you're on deadlines.
Yeah.
Once you do it a couple of times, you get that comfort and that professional knowledge in you that, hey, I can do this. Mm-hmm. It might be hard, it might be challenging, but I can hit it.
Mm-hmm. I think that does create, like you said, resiliency and whatnot. And it also builds you up, because we all know deadlines are very stressful at times, especially if you have a lot going on in your career currently while you're pursuing another advanced degree. Things will come. I feel time is either on your side or it's not. 9 times out of 10, it's not, because of you trying to navigate 3 different things in your life at the same time, and it happens. So I think deadlines definitely create. It is a pusher. It's I need you to stay on the tightrope, and if you do fall off, and things do happen, we understand that, but we somehow figure out, we find a way, and we go through it. Like I said, we went back to school this week. Well, we started last week, but we officially went back this week. And it wasn't tough in terms of me going. It was tough in terms of I have to switch over. I'm going to PT, and we have to figure out how things are going to go. We don't know the outcome of this deadly virus, just stuff like that. So it was a lot of different things going on at the same time. And I am still in school too. So, that doesn't stop. But like I said, I enjoyed the course. I wish professors took a page out of Dr. Crawford's book and really showcase because I do feel like I learned so much in her courses. I really, really do. Compared to other courses, absolutely. Because just the amount of resources, the amount of input, the amount of information that you just read about and you string along in your mind, and you talk about it with other people as well. So it really sticks with you. So like I said, I enjoyed it. And I'm sure she'll enjoy this video as she watches it as well.
Well, the one thing I find disappointing, particularly for the undergrads, I mean, I would hope by the master's level that you've got a fair grasp on this, but I've noticed that is not always the case. We have so many required courses. Like for history, it's research and methods. There's a ton of requirements for EDCI, doctoral, but I've never run across anybody requiring a time management course. And because, I mean, if all of us in this group didn't have good time management skills,
yes,
this course would have killed us for the deadlines. And
and good communication, like just being intentional and deliberate with. We all work around each other's schedules. Most, some people are teachers, educators. Some people have other things going on, and we kind of just figure out, okay, when can you meet? When can't you meet? And we really went from there. And like I said, you really do build relationships in that short little 4-week window. That's really like family, because it's like, oh, okay, we have this going on, you have that going on, and we just talk about it. So I definitely do agree. I think by the time you get to a master level, I would hope.
I would hope too, but that's not always the case.
It's not. And
And that military course I was telling you about,
yeah.
they told us right at the beginning, this course is hard,
Mm-hmm.
but if you understand time management, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to go and play around with your writing or your photography for the next few weeks. Here's all your deadlines. Here's all your assignments. Figure it out. Go. And so from the word go, I started setting up, where do I want to shoot? What do I want to shoot? When do I want to shoot?
Yeah.
So that when that 3 or 4 week block where we had all those tight deadlines,
Mm-hmm.
I had everything laid out and ready to go. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't done, but I had the time parceled out when I was going to do it. I'll tell you the worst part. I did a nighttime ride along with a canine officer. That was fun, but that wrapped up about 2 a.m. Went back to my hotel room. I had to be, actually about 1 a.m. I had to be 2 hours away at the Coast Guard yard.
Yeah.
At 6 a.m. to take a service-wide examination for promotion. And then I had a 9:30 appointment at the Smithsonian's Garber facility in Silver City, Maryland for the next shoot on historic aircraft restoration. And I couldn't move any of them. So I went and took my service-wide exam on 3 hours sleep.
Well,
scored 3 out of 6. I mean, that's not bad, out of the entire Coast Guard that was taken in second class. But, time management is just crucial. And we had a guy in the office that went through and had no clue how to time manage. Someone about my age, about same level of experience. He failed out of the course and they did not invite him to re-enlist because he failed out of an $80,000 a seat course.
Well,
I mean, it ended his career.
I think to anybody watching this video, if it's ever scared, James has a good point. We do need to incorporate some kind of time stress management course just to manage all of the different things going on in everybody's everyday life, because everybody is not built for time management. And I think it's a skill that you build upon throughout your professional career and also personal career. I mean, personal.
Well, and we would see that in the master's program in history all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's okay, you've got a paper due at the end of the semester. And everyone's like, end of the semester, no problem. Into that first class, I had my thesis idea approved already.
Yeah.
And when I would talk to the younger kids coming in, and kids, 30-year-olds, but I'm pushing 49 here. So I would say, look, time is gold. Use the time in the beginning of your semester to lay the groundwork for the stuff later, because it's only going to get busier.
And time is on your side in the beginning, not in the end. I will tell you that. So it's best to pay, like I tell everybody, it's best to pay on the front end than the back end, because the back end is not going to be on your own terms. The front end will always be on your own terms. So overall, I think we both enjoyed this course.
Very much so.
And we hope you guys enjoyed the conversation me and James had on this final reflective manuscript. Please leave your comments below, and I'll be sure to respond, or James to respond, and any feedback you guys left for us. So, yeah. And we're gonna.
I always try to respond to anybody that puts my name on something. So
he does. So please, if you do leave it, James will respond. So, all right, guys. Well, it was nice talking to you all, and I enjoy the relationship that I have built over these 4 weeks. And you guys have a great night, and enjoy the rest of your summer.